What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Shoe Buddy Sports coming at you Tuesday afternoon. It's 5:30 p.m. Does that count as afternoon or evening at this point?
Evening, I believe.
Okay, well,
It's
it's
after
very much,
working hours.
yeah. Well, we are in mid-March, so we very much have daylight and will till about what, 8 o'clock or so. Shout out daylight savings time, by the way. Anyway, before we get started, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor. Shoe Booty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers five different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the one of a kind Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all five of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience. Track it with your fitness app of choice. Screenshot your results as proof of completion. Submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Race's staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section while you're there for t shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. And you can find us, Shoe Woody Sports, on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on X at Shoe Woody Sports. So you asked me what I was grinning at or laughing at or whatever before I clicked record. Since it's officially March Madness, we're about to get underway. I checked our fantasy football leagues group. So, would you like to explain how our draft order in fantasy football is determined before I do this?
Yeah, I believe I reviewed this before, but um, so the draft order in our fantasy football league is determined. The first and last pick is determined by the March Madness bracket results. So the winner of the bracket gets first place, and the guy who didn't know what he was picking, scored the very worst. He gets last pick, and picks 2 through 13 are currently being decided through a simulated wrestling match with everyone's characters uploaded to a PlayStation 5 with all their attributes maxed out, and we do a tournament series of Royal Rumbles, and the winner of those determines the draft order. So it's pretty fun.
All right, well, there you go. Okay, and by a person that doesn't know what they're doing, I mean they could who finishes last. I mean they may know what they're doing, but you never know how March Madness
Well,
shakes out.
in the last couple of years, the person who you're taking the place of has purposely picked the worst bracket because he, for some reason, liked the last pick.
You know, I had the number one pick this past season, and I wish I didn't because I took Christian
Well,
McCaffrey.
everybody that had number one pick, which is they didn't have it this last season
Yeah, it
because
was.
everybody picked the same guy.
Yeah, it did not work out well for any of us. All right, so the reason I was grinning was I checked because I figured we'd make some picks here on the show regarding March Madness on the men's side at least, and uh, I look and it looks like I'm the only person that's filled out a bracket in our league. Is that right?
No, you just can't see anything until
Okay.
after everything's submitted. Luke's Luke's done his. I've done mine. I don't think I've I don't know if it's the final revision on it or not, but yeah, I filled one out. So they're in there. You just can't see them.
All right. Well, let's just go through let's start off with our final four picks on the men's side. Who do you have in the final four?
Who do I have in the final four? Uh it's SEC heavy. Um I
How
did
many?
not
How many SEC teams?
three, which I'm thinking about revising it to two because I just don't know if Auburn will make it to the final four. Um
Okay, okay, hang on, Mister. This is the best team of the modern era.
said
I'm
apparently.
saying that. Okay, I want to challenge that because the that didn't sit well with me when we got off of here. I was like, well, hang on a minute. What do we mean by modern era? Because I think the '06, '07 back-to-back Florida Gators would beat the brakes off of this Auburn team. I think the Kentucky team with Anthony Davis that won the national championship
Remove the last 2 weeks from
would
Auburn,
beat the
and then have it.
brakes off of
Yeah,
this team.
that's whenever that statement was made. So
I think either one of those teams would beat the absolute brakes off of this Auburn team.
yeah, I was very confused when I heard it too, but
Auburn has lost three of their last four games.
yeah, and
Just
some of them
throwing it
hadn't
out
been
there.
close. So
Yeah, that never happened to the Florida Joakim Noah and the Florida Gators. That never happened to Anthony Davis in Kentucky. Never happened. Just
no,
saying.
yep.
These UConn teams, these last two, not this season, but the last two UConn teams are better than the Sovereign team.
So when do you have Auburn going out?
Elite Eight. I
Mhm.
have them going out in the Elite Eight. I just don't believe in a team that's lost
I
three of
don't
their
either.
last four games.
That's whenever I was going back through a bracket, I was like, I really don't like Auburn. Of course, maybe this is what they're waiting on. They're waiting on everyone to doubt them, and then they'll surprise everyone instead of waiting, on everyone to count on them and then letting them down. So,
Sound like an Auburn fan there, or who's someone whose dad's an Auburn fan. We'll put it that way. I have Auburn going out in the Elite Eight to my first Final Four team. That's not an SEC team, obviously. I've got them losing to the Michigan State Spartans.
okay, Michigan State.
Yes, yes.
Well,
Uh,
I thought you just weren't going to say state. I'm like, wait, that's around before the 16th. So,
no, I've got them losing to Michigan State. I think Iowa State could beat them. I would pick either one of those two teams to beat Auburn, but I have Michigan State beating Iowa State. I started to pick Iowa State, and I was like, I like what I see from Michigan State right now. So I've got Michigan State in the Final Four on that side of the bracket. Who do you have
dang,
on that
don't give
side?
away too much of your bracket.
Well, okay, we'll start.
uh,
We'll just start with that. Like, yeah, I got Michigan State on that side. Who do you have coming out of the what is it? The
on that
South?
side, I just said Auburn, but it would be. I'm thinking about switching that one up.
That's right. Okay,
Currently, it's Auburn.
if you didn't go with Auburn, who would you have?
It would be the same as you. It'd be Michigan State.
All right. Okay. Um, the next one. What is it? The West bracket. Who's your Final Four pick there? I already know who you're going to say. I think
But yeah, I mean, the Dukies.
we're not looking at the
Am I
same
looking
one.
at the wrong? Oh, okay. So I was looking at the East. You said the what? The West?
I said the West. I've got it pulled up on
Okay.
my
Well, then
ESPN app.
it's
Any of that.
Florida.
Yes, that's who I
You
have.
know
I
it's
have
Florida, dude.
Florida. I have Florida, the SEC tournament champions, the Florida Gators, who may be playing the best ball of anybody in
Thumping
the
people,
country right
dude.
now. Yeah, I've got Florida coming out of the West there. You do as well, it sounds like. Um,
Yeah.
number two team in the country, I think playing the best ball in the country right now. And yeah, so you and I both have Florida coming out of the West. So it would be a Michigan State Florida matchup. Winner of that game determines who goes to the national championship there. All right, let's jump down to the East side of the bracket. Sounds like you gave up your pick. Are you pick going with Duke?
Yeah.
I also
I
have
don't know.
Duke coming out of that.
Nobody has that side, man. I just don't see any. I don't even see or Alabama giving them that much, but
I was
I
going
don't
to
know, man.
say, Alabama got a heck of a draw. They have a very nice path to get to the Elite Eight.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
And if Cooper Flag is not 100%, which it doesn't sound like he is, or maybe even will be, Alabama's got a chance.
Yeah.
They have
They
as
do
good of
have
a
a chance.
chance to get to the Final Four as you could ask for if you're a Crimson Tide fan. So I think there is a chance Alabama could come out of that bracket. But if Cooper Flag is healthy, I like Duke, who, by the way, beat handed Auburn their first loss of the season earlier this season. My
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a gut feeling Alabama's going to stumble before they reach Duke.
Why? Because they always do. It
Yeah.
feels like,
Because
yeah,
they always do. Yeah.
yeah,
They're a basketball team from the state of Alabama. It's going to happen.
yeah.
But
I could say that about the team that I have coming out of the Midwest. The region winner there. I've got Tennessee coming out of that side of the bracket. They always seem to come up short in these big spots in the tournament, especially when they are ranked as high as they are. Still, nonetheless, I have Tennessee advancing to the Final Four. Of course, they faced Florida in the SEC championship games or tournament championship game. It was a good game for a little bit, but Florida just steadily pulled away and just seemed to maintain that double digit lead till the end, or at least pretty close to it. Tennessee never really threatened. Um, but still, I have Tennessee coming out of that side of the bracket. So I've got Duke and Tennessee playing each other for a spot in the national championship game. Again, my final four: Michigan State, Florida, Duke, Tennessee. What about you?
same minus Michigan State for now with subbing in Auburn.
So,
So
all right. Well, what you have now for this show, Brad has Auburn, Florida, Duke, Tennessee, correct?
correct.
Wow. All right. And we didn't consult each other on anything. Like it's just
Now,
kind of how the bracket was set up. I was even a little bit surprised by some of my picks. I was because I was like a 12 always beats a five, and I was just trying to find which one. I want to say
yes.
maybe I had VCU winning. I know I had VCU winning its first round game.
Man, it has me worried, man, because I think that's everybody's 12 over a 5 pick.
Probably
It's
right. It seems like the obvious one, so it's probably
yes.
not going to. But they are playing. I mean, they're record solid, playing very good basketball this year. And a 12 always beats a five. It always happens.
Yep.
So that is going to be a popular one. Okay, so national championship game. I'll start with you. Who you got?
I've got a rematch of the SEC championship.
Okay, Florida. You've got Tennessee beating Duke.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I have Florida Duke. I have Florida and Duke facing off for the national championship game, which I think would be a hell of a matchup.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, that'd be a really fun one to see. And okay, I'm going to guess that you have Florida winning it.
That'd be a pretty good guess, yeah.
Okay. I also have Florida winning the national championship. Florida beating Duke. I don't remember what my point total was. I want to say in the 140s or something like that, the combined point total. It doesn't matter.
I just put whatever the point total was of the SEC championship. I didn't put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, I did not, I picked my bracket within 5 minutes. There wasn't a whole lot of, you definitely don't overthink it. The
No.
one thing I did was I switched up one or two picks maybe, and that was as I was picking. I was like, I don't know about that, and then I switched it back up.
I
You
did 3 brackets just for fun, and the one bracket that I went back into, I've just switched up 2 picks for my bracket for the draft.
and of course we're talking about the one that we're doing for our fantasy football draft, correct?
Correct.
All
The
right.
one that actually means something. So
Well, yes, we didn't talk about it beforehand. I had no idea who you were picking. You had no idea who I was picking. It just worked out this way. And so,
I do know who Luke picked to win it all.
who's he? Who does he got?
He's in the same boat as we are. As I would imagine a lot of people are.
I'm a little surprised by that. I thought there would be more. A lot of people are picking Florida. It's either Duke or Florida. I think Duke is the most popular pick, not in our league, just overall. And Florida's second. And Auburn is third at like 11%, I believe it was last I saw.
And they probably all live in Auburn, Alabama.
They could. I don't see how you lose three of your last four games and are one, the number one overall seed, and two, the favorites to win it all. I know they did look like the best team in the country for most of the season, and they are very talented, but they are beatable. Arkansas hung with them. And
Yeah.
Arkansas is not a bad team. Arkansas is a tournament team, but a national champion should beat the brakes off of this Arkansas Razorback team.
Yes.
So that was part of it too for me. But the big thing was you lost three of your last four games.
Speaking of Arkansas, do they pull it off against Kansas?
Okay, all right. Who did you pick for that one?
I
It's
got
10
I
seed
got a
Arkansas.
homer. I got a homer pick just because I know it's whoever I picked in that game is going to get bounced in the next game. So
You think so? Hang on. I think the winner of that game can make a run.
you
I
don't
think
think
it's
St. John's
possible.
bounces them?
I don't. I'm not a believer in St. John's. I'm not. I think they can.
I know where you're coming from, dude,
I think
but
they
I don't
can
know. I
get
just have
ousted.
a feeling. Yeah, I just have a feeling this is going to be the year where the team that's supposed to make some noise makes some noise. But
St. John's reminds me of the Wichita State team that was the number one seed. There's a lot of hype there, but you haven't been tested. I mean, you do play in a legitimate league. Like it's not that you're not playing in a small conference,
no.
so it's not. But it just still kind of feels the same to me. You
Hmm.
haven't. Arkansas plays the SEC is just stacked. It's the best it's ever been, top to bottom. South Carolina's record's terrible. That's the best two conference win team that's ever existed.
Ever played? Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I just don't I don't believe in the Johnnies. I don't believe in St. John's. I just don't. Rick Pitino, Hall of Fame coach. Yes, it makes sense that they could and should make a run, and they can.
Yes.
But I would bet if I were betting money on it, I'd say they're more likely to get bounced early than late. I think the winner of Arkansas and Kansas has a legitimate shot to beat St. John's. I do think St. John's rolls in the first round. I think either Arkansas or Kansas can give St. John's a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Having said that, I picked Kansas to beat Arkansas on in the bracket. I had to think with my head there.
Yeah, it's a smart pick.
Yeah,
Considering that we played them in a preseason practice game and we had Boogie back then, like
at Bud Walton Arena, Arkansas was mostly health. Actually, Arkansas was beat up too. Like they had a lot of guys that didn't play. Kansas's best player didn't play in that game.
true.
Their big man. So that's the big decider for me. One, Arkansas got them at home. Two, Kansas's best player didn't even play. So I've got Kansas in that one. I
I
just,
couldn't pick it, man. My boss, he's Kansas alumni, so I had to pull for the Hogs.
I mean, I'm pulling for the Hogs.
As a pick with my heart.
Okay, there you go. I would love to be wrong. I would
Yeah.
absolutely love to be wrong. But I was thinking as I was making these picks and looking at the bracket, I was like, if Arkansas wins this game, they have a legitimate shot to get to as far as the round of eight. You look at it, if they beat Kansas, I think they can beat St. John's. I think they can beat Missouri because they have beaten Missouri to get to the round of eight.
So
I think
you're
Missouri.
saying Missouri's getting past Tech?
Yes, I picked Missouri to win that. Yes, that's not the Big 12 is not what it was.
Yeah, it's not. No, that's what I'm saying. This seating, this, yeah, a lot of BS
Yeah.
on this bracket.
Um, yeah, I Texas. This isn't Texas Tech from 2019 or whatever it was when Chris Beard was the coach, It's not the same squad. The Big 12 is not what it once was when it had Texas and Oklahoma. Not the same conference. The record is not. It's deceiving for Texas Tech, as is the seeding. Yes, I have Missouri. Like if I were betting money, I'm picking Missouri over Texas Tech. You have Tech winning that?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Give
I
me
picked,
Missouri.
dude. I flopped back and forth. I was like, I don't know. I had Missouri picked originally, so I flopped it to Tech.
I get it, but point being, there's a path to the Elite Eight for Kansas or Arkansas, whoever wins it. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying
Yeah.
there is a chance for that to happen, like a legitimate chance for either one of those teams to make a run. I would love to see Arkansas do it. I just don't think it happens.
It don't.
All right, what else is going on in the sports world
Well,
besides
uh,
Rodgers talk?
no, Indiana just signed a new head coach in college basketball.
You gonna leave us hanging? Who is it? This is news to me.
Oh, is it?
Yes,
Oh,
I've been so caught up in anatomy and physiology and work and um,
throwing
side
out
deal,
big words.
side deal, or off. Well, I guess it's on the record. Uh, certain websites transitioning to new platforms, etc. Oh, I'll tell you that later. But it's been busy is the point. So okay, West Virginia's DeVries.
Yeah, DeVries.
Okay. I mean, sounds like a good hire considering West Virginia is.
6 year, 6 years, man. That's pretty lengthy.
Well, West Virginia feels so snubbed that they are suing
Yeah.
the NCAA or something like that.
Yes.
Investigate something.
I believe that's what I've heard today. Yes.
I thought it was like, you know, what am I trying to say? I
A
thought it
gag.
was just a parody. Yeah, I thought it was a parody headline. But no, apparently not. So I guess they feel that snubbed. Okay.
Now, if UNC wins their first game, do they have to drop their lawsuit?
Uh, I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
just
care
ready
either.
for when do the games start? Is it? It's tonight.
Wins? Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesdays are the play-in nights.
Yes, these are the games that determine the 16 seeds tonight. And the first round of 64 starts when? Tomorrow or
Wednesday?
Thursday? Okay. I believe it's
I thought it
tomorrow.
was Wednesday. Oh,
So that would be tomorrow. This is
maybe.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
I mean, you have a job now. You should know what day of the week it is.
I do.
A full-time job. I make it sound like you're a bum. He's not. I'm just saying his
I'm a,
day. You should know his
I, li-
days.
I live in a van down by the river.
This is all the setup back here. It's just a little prop in the background.
It's green screen, dude.
All right, so we've talked enough about Aaron Rodgers, but I will just say this: if you had a choice or destination for him, what would be the top choice?
As of right now, what's open, it definitely have to be the Steelers. Why would anybody want to go to the Giants?
I would say Minnesota. I had originally said Pittsburgh. I like Minnesota. I think it's a better fit as far as head coach, offensive head coach,
And he
proven
gets to play
success.
indoors.
Yeah, easier. Not that that really matters to him. I mean, he showed out in Green Bay for decades. I would
Decades.
pretty close. This is like season 20 something, 21 maybe. I don't know if he comes back. Apparently, he went to Egypt. But yeah, Kevin O'Connell, head coach, offensive head coach, easier path to the playoffs. I think as far as just top to bottom, what you're dealing with in that division. I mean, yeah, you still got the Lions, you still got the Packers. It's not an easy division if you go with the Vikings, but I don't know. I think it's not as grueling as facing the Ravens, facing the Bengals twice a year. I like his chances better in Minnesota. If I were him, Minnesota would be the most attractive pick to me. But Pittsburgh, I think, would work too. All right.
Yeah,
Should,
I would. Yeah, I would really want to throw to Jeffries, man. Freaking Justin
Jefferson?
Jeffers, whatever. I'd really want to throw the one of the top
I was like,
receivers in.
who are you talking?
Dude,
Jordan Addison,
I don't know.
Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. I mean, there's some really good pieces there. Yes, I would want to throw to them as well. Okay. Should should we do a women's bracket before we get out of here? Kind of close the show that way.
Sure, I haven't looked at it, but yeah, let's do it.
I haven't either. Could be fun. By the way, going back to Arkansas, Boogie Fland is expected to play.
Of course. He's like, wait, I can play in the tournament before I go to the NBA? Yeah, I guess I can make a comeback.
All right. Now this is going to sound weird for me to say it. Is Arkansas better or worse right now with him playing? It
I mean,
sounds weird.
they're probably going to be worse, man.
I don't disagree with that. I don't know. I'm happy he's back.
Wait, it all depends on if he's been practicing with the team. Like, if he's just going to show up and be like, I'm playing now, yeah, they're definitely going to be worse.
Yeah, because uh, Nelly Davis has been forced to step up in his absence, in Boogie Fland's absence, and has become a key part of Arkansas' success down the stretch. Boogie Fland hasn't played in 15 games, the last 15 games. I don't. This probably causes some chemistry issues. Having said that, I want him out there. Does that make? I mean, make that make sense? That thinking.
Hey, let him come off the bench, man. I mean, we need him. I mean, how many active players do we have on the team? Like seven, eight? It's not.
That might be the good.
It's,
That might be the move, right? Like have him come off the bench and contribute that way, and just see if there's a spark, see what can happen. That's
and
probably the best way to do it.
if he gives them matchup issues, just keep him out there. So
All right. Well, yeah, I say let's do a bracket. In fact, I'll just pull one up now
yeah, I've got one up.
if it'll let me do it.
So, but just looking at the odds beforehand, it seems like the favorites from the filled out brackets is definitely South Carolina. I think they're a little bit over a quarter pick to win in all the brackets, which is should not be a shocker to anyone.
No, it shouldn't be. All right. Well, let's if you got it pulled up and are able to fill it out, let's do it and
All
I'll look
right.
at it
Well,
as we go.
so we'll start off. We'll do uh, start off in Region One. I guess they keep theirs pretty simple, 1 through 4. We got a UCLA versus 16 seed, either or. We're just going to go with the 1 seed, pick UCLA over that one. And next we have Georgia Tech versus Richmond, a 9 and 8 seed. That's going to be a toss up. I don't know. I usually like to do 9/8s. What say you?
If I don't know where the other team is from, I'm probably going to go with the more familiar team if it's that close of seeding. So yeah, I'll go with Georgia Tech. I assume Richmond's Virginia.
Yes, I believe you're right. Next one out of the region is
Hang
Old
on,
Miss
their mascot is a spider or something.
Spider. Yeah,
All right.
Spider. So the next one is a five versus a 12. Ole Miss against Ball State. I don't think the women's bracket has the 12 over fives happen that often, but I could be mistaken.
That's the thing about the women's bracket. It's usually a lot more predictable. It's not
It's a
as
lot more chalk.
madness.
Yeah.
Yeah, there just isn't as much parity in women's basketball. It's gotten better. Like UConn is just not the absolute dominant team anymore, but that's kind of turned into South Carolina. But even then, Texas was the considered the top team in the SEC all year, and then South Carolina beat them in the tournament in the SEC tournament championship. So I don't know. The parity is getting better, which I think is better for the game. I like Ole Miss in that.
Yeah. So and then we have number 4 seed Baylor versus 13 seed Grand Canyon. Uh, Grand Canyon got in both men's and women's squad to the tournament. Good for them, but they made it. They're not going to win. I've got Baylor over Grand Canyon. Uh, next
Same.
is six. Next is 6 seed Florida State versus 11 George Mason. Yeah, I'll let you do this one. We're just going to roll with chalk.
I'm gonna go with Florida State.
All right. And then we have number 3 LSU versus 14 seed San Diego State.
I'd love to
I'm gonna
see
go
San Diego State win this one, but I like LSU. Too much talent, too well coached. LSU.
Then we get to a closer seeded number 7 Michigan State against 10 seed Harvard.
Well,
Think the Einsteins can pull it off.
I think they could. I don't think they do though. I like Michigan State here, and I like NC State over Vermont in the bottom portion of that bracket. The 2 seed NC State beating Vermont because North Carolina State is always a high seed in the women's tournament and always makes noise. Um, like Michigan State, I like NC State.
All right. I thought you were taking it over there. So off to region 2.
Now
We've
I
got
was
South.
scrolling down.
No. Okay. Off to region 2. We've got top seed South Carolina versus number 16 seed Tennessee Tech.
I was going
Yeah.
to say, what are
We're not
you?
even, what?
You're right. I think. I'm looking at USC and UNC Greensboro. I thought you said South Carolina was USC, but we'll just go based on what you're saying. Um,
I said region 2.
yeah, I don't know how I got to this
Okay.
point. I guess I got to scroll. I'm doing it on my phone, so
Yeah.
that's what it is. Um, okay, I'm looking at it now. South Carolina next.
Yeah. South Carolina. And then we get 8 and 9 seed Utah versus Indiana. I'm just gonna go with Indiana
I was about to
just
say
because.
my first. Well, no, we've once again got a 9 beating an 8 here. So yeah, I'm also going to say Indiana there, and I'm going to take the Crimson Tide women beating Green Bay in the round after that.
Well, and we got Maryland versus Norfolk State. Where's Norfolk State at, Graham?
Norfolk,
That'd be a pretty good guess.
and it's in a
Anyways,
state. It's in a state in this country, I think.
we can't find them, and they probably can't win. So we're gonna pick number 4 Maryland.
Watch them just
Um,
beat the
yeah,
brakes
they're gonna beat the brakes off of them. So next
totally.
up, we have 6 seed West Virginia versus play-in opponent of looks like Columbia or Washington.
West Virginia.
Yeah, we're just going to go with the certain team that's going to be there. Then we have a 3 seed North Carolina, who, yeah, I'm guessing they deserve to be there, versus Oregon State, 14 seed. So we're going to grow with number 3 seed North Carolina there. And then up next, we have number 7 Vandy against 10 seeded Oregon. I don't know. Yeah, we're just going to stick with SEC and go with Vandy.
Hang on. I'm going to go
Oh,
on the record and say I like Oregon in this game.
all right. We're going with Oregon, folks. You heard it here first. So up next, we've got the Dukies, the Lady Dukies, excuse me, versus
They
Lehigh.
did. I didn't know they did that.
Uh, I think I read it in a science book. It happens. So we're gonna roll with Duke on that one. Moving down to Region 3, we get started off with top seeded Texas versus a play-in opponent. We're gonna
Texas.
roll with we're gonna roll with Texas. Then we have an 8-9 matchup with Illinois versus Creighton. Are we going to stick with 8 over the 9 or 9s over the 8s? Or are we going to go switch it up to 8 over 9?
Uh, I like Creighton in any 9 versus 8 matchup, whether it's men or women.
All right. And 5-seeded Lady Vols taking on 12-seeded South Florida. I'm just going to pick Lady Vols
I'll
just
just tell
out of
you
habit.
what, I'll take the next two. Ohio State over Montana State, 4 seed over 13 seed, and I got Michigan in the play-in game. And I'll do another one. I like Notre Dame over Stephen F. Austin because Notre Dame is always good in this tournament.
It's crazy to think it's going to be Notre Dame versus one guy. Louisville versus number 10, Nebraska. We're just going to roll with 7 seed Louisville.
I like Louisville in that.
And then we have almost top seeded TCU versus Fair Dickinson.
I like
I don't know
TCU.
where I don't know where that fair is being held at, so we're going to go with TCU.
All right, we're gonna have to reel these next ones off pretty quick.
All right, we're going USC over UNC Greensboro. We're going Mississippi State over California. Then we're going Kansas State over Fairfield, Kentucky over Liberty, Ohio over Murray State, Oklahoma over I don't even know what that acronym is for. And then we're going to choose Oklahoma State over South Dakota State and UConn beating Arkansas State. So it's pretty much all chalk on that end. Moving on.
Hang on, I'm gonna
Uh,
go with the Red Wolves. No, I'm not. We're going UConn. Okay.
okay.
All
All
right.
right. So moving back, we're going to move UCLA through to the Sweet 16 over Georgia Tech. This might be a tricky one. Number 4 Baylor versus number 5 Ole Miss.
Let's go. For the sake of, let's go Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. All right. And then we have 3 versus number 6 Florida State and LSU. I don't know. I'm going to roll with LSU. We're just going to keep on being homers. And then we have NC State versus 7-seeded Michigan State. I
NC
figured we'd
State.
have to roll with NC State. Moving over to Region 2, South Carolina will probably win over Indiana. We're going to pick those. Now, number 5 versus number 4, Maryland versus Alabama. What
Let's
say you?
go. I got Alabama.
Alabama. All right. And then 6 seed West Virginia versus North Carolina. We'll probably go with North Carolina just because they're picking up the slacks for the men's side. And we're going to stick with the Dukes over Oregon. All right, moving down, we've got Texas over Creighton. The Lady Vols, I like them over Ohio State. Why not? Eh, Michigan over Notre Dame?
No, I got Notre Dame.
Oh, dang. All right. And then, of course, we're going to do TCU over Louisville unless Graham
Yes.
says otherwise. All right, we
TCU.
got you. Yeah, we got UConn winning over Oklahoma State. Oklahoma winning over Iowa. Kansas State versus Kentucky, 4 and 5 seed.
Let's go Kentucky.
Kentucky. USC beats Mississippi State. USC versus Kentucky. 1 and a
US
4.
USC.
Yeah, they've got some pretty good players. Oklahoma versus UConn.
UConn.
UConn. Notre Dame TCU. You still taking
Notre.
with
Let's
Notre Dame?
go. Let's go Notre Dame.
You already said Notre Dame. Texas versus Tennessee.
Texas.
Texas. All right. We've got North Carolina versus Duke.
North Carolina.
I like it. Alabama versus South Carolina.
All right, we're out of time. Now, who's your
Dang.
national championship pick?
South Carolina.
I got South Carolina there, so there you go.
Surprise!
All right, we'll see y'all next time. I'm Grandpa.
Brother Brown.
Deuces, y'all.
Peace.